Hi everybody, so if you're not following me on Instagram, I'll link it down below, but I did murder case or story time and you guys really wanted a murder case, so it actually won 100% to 0%, so that was kind of crazy because like 13 people voted. So murder case won, and I'm actually gonna go I'm gonna do two in this video because one is shorter than the other. I don't plan on editing this one at all. So there's gonna be probably a lot of me fumbling. But if you guys see my eyes, it's literally because of mascara. I tried to get all my makeup off from yesterday. I went to a festival. It was kind of everywhere. And so my eyes are just... They're not... My face is not it right now. But we are going to be talking about the case of Reagan Simmons Hancock, and she was 21 years old at the time of death. It was in New Boston, Texas, small town. You know, it was in DeKalb County, kind of where everybody knew each other, everybody knew each other's names, families, you know, small town stuff. This was on October 9th, 2020. 27-year-old female Taylor Parker was pulled over at 12 p.m. as a routine traffic stop. She was covered in blood with a newborn baby who she claimed to be her infant. She states to have just given birth and is taken to the McCurtain Memorial Hospital in Idabel, Oklahoma. HCG is a hormone that is secured by the placenta only. So the baby gets delivered and then the placenta comes out after. What's in the placenta is HCG, and the mother will always have HCG. Like it's always in the placenta. Taylor, and it's there for at least 6 weeks. Taylor had 0% in her system, and then she goes on to refuse vaginal check for a hemorrhaging and claims she's in the hog business and was on the way to the hospital because of contractions. Blood was stained on her fingerprints, and DNA shows that some of the blood is not her own. Sheriffs tell Taylor in the hospital they're talking with the DA in Bower County, and it shows that she had a hysterectomy. If y'all know what a hysterectomy is, it's basically they remove your uterus. You can't have a period anymore. And if you can't have a period, you can't get pregnant. Miss Scam, Miss Ma'am, Miss Girl, Miss Boo Thing. Like it's you can't have kids. Like it's kind of like you know what I mean? Like, why would you go to the I don't get it. She had claimed to be pregnant a few years back, shortly after her hysterectomy. Detectives tell her she did not give birth this morning, and then Taylor starts crying and freaking out. Detectives then tell her about Reagan Simmons Hancock being found on the road with a baby cut out of her belly. So basically, Reagan was driving regularly to work, and Taylor cut her baby out of her belly and tried to use it as her own, and she was ended up sentencing to life in prison. As I said, there's not a lot of details that I had for that story, so I really wanted to put it in here because I did want to put it in a video, but it was going to be too short to make just a regular video. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This one I have a lot, so be prepared. So this one is the case of Jimmy Schaefer. On April 2nd, 2013, in Volusia County, Florida, he went missing. He was supposed to go to work. He worked for a limo company. He was supposed to go to work, return home, and then go back to work the next day. He went to work on April 2nd and did not return home. His wife thought that was normal because That's what, like, it might take him. He's always on business trips. So his wife thought that was normal until his boss called his wife asking why he wasn't at work the next day. And his wife immediately starts freaking out because the boss said that he had sent him home around 3 a.m. So he was supposed to be home that entire day and night, and he never showed. And then didn't show up to work the next day. When they found him, his body was unrecognizable, and some parts were found. Some parts of him were found in the oven and on pots of the stove when they found his body. This was after the interrogation and everything. I just needed to get that out there. I'll return to that. Candy Medina called the police on Angela STOLTZ because she admitted to a crime and was threatening to take a whole bunch of pills, and she needed an officer now in her front yard. That was the call that she placed to 911, that her sister had admitted to a crime and then was threatening to unalive herself. This happened around 3 p.m. and so let me talk about the whole situation with Angela. He didn't come home. She called boss. He then drove off. According to his neighbor, Angela STOLTZ, she's seen him in the early morning hours he went missing. Angela received a text from Jimmy saying, "I can't get it. Keep the cash for yourself." They take Angela in for questioning, and she overseed all of his assets. They then see that he overdrafted, and she approved it. She talked to him the next day after he went missing, and investigators found texts that didn't come from him. If you guys know anything about like text messages, they ping off of cell towers, and so they'll obviously be able to see where that's coming from. Police then questioned her further and investigated the home and found that Angela had put several body parts in the oven and stove, trying to essentially cremate him. But if you guys know anything about cremation, even if you're cremated professionally, it takes hours and hours and hours. So it's gonna take you probably 2 weeks to a month if you're gonna do that, and your house is gonna smell pretty bad by then. It's gonna smell like death. It is. She relied on him for money, thus the motive. Angela then told police it was a late April Fool's joke. It was a late April Fool's joke that she admitted to the crime and was threatening to take a bottle of pills, is what she stated. It was just an April Fool's joke. That really pissed me off. Because it's like, how are you, like, that is such a, like, you can come up with anything else and you say it's an April Fool's joke. At least it was April. I'll give her that. At least it was April. So Jimmy liked to gamble and overdraft, thus making Angela responsible for his financial debt. But I found it weird that Angela was approving she kept approving the overdrafts. So it was charging her money. It was charging her extra money for overdrafts. But she was relying on him for money, and she was approving the overdraft, so she was kind of essentially screwing herself in that way. On the date of death, Angela made Jimmy a drink of vodka and Flexeril. And Flexeril is a muscle relaxer. It slows your heart rate. Jimmy pressed her about the loan, so she drove him to a cemetery by her father's place. She then grabbed an ice pick, and stabbed it in his right eye, then reached for a cord and strangled him. She then took the ice pick and stabbed it into the left eye to make sure he was gone. She had her kids unknowingly help move his body to the dumpsters around the city. After, he didn't cremate in the oven and on pots on the stove, she put them in bags and helped her little children, help her take these bags that they didn't even know what it was. They had them take these bags and just throw them in dumpsters around the city like he was garbage and didn't matter. And that really sucks that you can treat a human being like they're nothing for money. When she went to court, she was sentenced to life in prison in Volusia County, Florida. This case was one of the most, one of the most gruesome, the most stupid, there's so many words I want to put here, because she stabbed him twice in the eyes with an ice pick, and then strangled him. Well, stab, strangle, stab. And then cut him into pieces and cooked him. And then dumped his body in bags around the city. That is so delusional. You're delusional. There was so many things that she had done to this man after he was already dead. There are so many things she did to that. Most people you read, they do it only one of these ways. Nah, Angela said, let me take all of them. She goes, I'm gonna do it all. And during the interrogations, weirdly, she was wearing sunglasses in most of them. And so, if you guys know anything about interrogations, they read your body language, they read how, they read your thought process, they're trying to assess you as a human. Body language is a big indicator if somebody's lying or not. Eyes are a really big indicator. So when she covered up her eyes with sunglasses, police really couldn't tell her to take them off, but they did go through Angela's phone, and they went through her phone in the interrogation room. Angela gave them permission, and texts were deleted. The interrogator was reading them and they didn't make sense, so they confiscated her phone. And Angela tried to act like she didn't know nothing, like Lori Vallow. That case was crazy. The Doomsday couple, Lori acting like she ain't know shit. Kids missing for 4 months. Anyway, this was one of the most craziest cases I've ever heard of. Ever heard of. And I really don't want people like that on the street, so I'm really glad the judge gave her life without parole. Reagan Simmons Hancock's killer got life without parole too. So we're both glad and amazed for justice, even though they can never get their lives back. The families can never get their lives back. So I really enjoy doing these types of videos. I love spreading awareness. I love spreading a little bit of kindness, and I love sharing other people's stories that might not get told. Obviously they're getting told, but people need to hear them more. They need to understand that the world isn't all cupcakes and rainbows, and these are the types of things that you have to protect yourself and your family from. I love you guys so much, and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.